Hey G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review, and I must apologize for not having a review up for you guys last week. Just had some of my usual nonsensical setbacks that Byron usually gets. So I apologize for not shooting a video, just briefly explaining what's going on. Wasn't feeling well, so I didn't even feel well enough to actually shoot a video to let you guys know that I wasn't feeling well. So that tells you something. So anyway, I am back feeling much better, more revitalized and invigorated. So I thought we would take a trip back to 1988. I've been staring at this vehicle for well over 3 years, just hanging up on my wall. I keep it in a plastic bag and hang it up on my wall, and that helps keep dust off of it, for one, and for another, it's a great space saver. It really is. A nice sized plastic bag to fit the vehicle, action figure in, thumbtack it to the wall. It works. At least it works for me, but you end up with little nail holes in your wall. But that we're not talking about housing construction or beautification, but we are talking about the 1988 Destro's Iron Grenadiers A.G.P. or anti-gravity pod. The Iron Grenadiers hit the scene in 1988, and on the box of Destro's despoiler, his command ship, it says Battle Force 2000. I'll pull up pictures of these things here in a moment. But by then, BF2K was a year old, forgotten, out of the kids' psyche, unless they had some of the toys. They were already whacked out in the comic. Larry Hama just greased them all in one battle. A Saw Viper, I believe, got them. So Battle Force 2000 was no longer a part of G.I. Joe. And reading that comic, I felt like that was Larry. He's like, I hate writing this. Let's just whack them all out. So that could be his thought. I don't know, but that's the impression that I got when I read the comic series. So when this came out, and the Despoiler came out in 1988. I had received it for Christmas that year, and it says Battle Force 2000. It's like, what the heck, Battle Force 2000? I was 14 years old. It's like, what's this doing for Battle Force 2000? Because Tiger Force came out that year too, as well as Python Patrol. So I was like really confused. It's like, who are these guys supposed to be fighting? Are they fighting Cobra? Because I didn't know about the Cobra Civil War at the time. Are they supposed to be fighting Tiger Force? Are they a part, helping Python Patrol, but they're their own army? So they're fighting everybody. So what I did when I was playing, I had the Iron Grenadiers battle Tiger Force, because Tiger Force came out that year. So that was their main nemesis, not Battle Force 2000. I didn't have any of those action figures, and I have like 2 or 3 now, but back then I just didn't have them. So that's who they fought. They fought Tiger Force. So that was my big confusion over all of this. All these sub teams that started popping up in the 80s, and it started off with the Dreadnoks and just kind of went way off into left field with some of these sub teams. And it did get a little confusing, got a little cumbersome, a little too much. But hey, it was G.I. Joe. I didn't care. I loved it, so I was having fun with it. So the only Iron Grenadier vehicle I had was Destro's Despoiler, and I absolutely loved it. Version 2 of Destro that came with the Despoiler was my very first Destro, and to this day he is my favorite Destro. Version 1 is completely awesome. He is iconic. He is the face of Cobra arms deal. Okay, he's a mercenary. Didn't say Cobra on his card ever. It said the enemy. So there are a few times he did work with G.I. Joe, but he was an arms dealer. That's all he was. The guy was a pirate. So yeah, very iconic character, very well beloved character in the mythos, and I definitely could see why. So version 2 is my Destro, and I absolutely love that guy. Very suave looking uniform. He has a shoulder cape. I'll have to look up the appropriate name for that, but he had the shoulder cape that hung down. He carried a sword. His Iron Grenadiers carried swords. They all had to be swordsmen. That was part of their qualifications. They had to be a swordsman. You know, kind of like the Crimson Guard. You know, they had to be an accountant. The Iron Grenadiers had to be swordsmen. So, you know, why not? You know, you have to have some special qualities to be an elite force. You know, if you're a number cruncher or if you're a swashbuckler, hey, you get into a special sub-team. You know, I'll get into a sub-team for sucking snot. It's part of my job at work. So, be the snot sucker. I'm the snot viper. That's what it is. But anyway, let's get back to this. I digress. So it really blew up into this whole new thing. This whole new sub team, and he did come. They did have several vehicles and a few action figures that came out. You know, you have Voltar, you have the Annihilator, you have the Iron Grenadier, you have Metalhead, and all these other cool guys that were a part of Destro's Iron Grenadiers, and it was so cool. So let's go ahead and read off of yojo.com about the A.G.P. The A.G.P. anti-gravity pod was first released in U.S. toy stores in 1988, and it included the pilot Nullifier. We'll talk about him later on. The A.G.P. was also available in 1989 and discontinued for 1990. So back then, if you watch my show, you know the earlier Joes had a 2 or sometimes 4-year run, and then they also released their overstock into Hasbro Direct, and you could still buy them. So you got a bunch of, it made these things readily available for kids, which was great. And then in the 90s it was just a 1-year run, and then the next year they'd take that same Joe, slap a new coat of paint on them, and say, hey, version 2. You know, it got sloppy. So the Nullifier and the A.G.P. Made its first Marvel comic appearance, come on, in issue 87. It shows Destro right there and his Despoiler. I love the artwork on that. That is pretty nice. It also appeared in the G.I. Joe Nintendo video game. There are no variations of the 88 known to exist, but there was one that was the Iron Grenadier Stealth A.G.P. that was released in 2005, which got a facelift. It's pretty cool looking. Looks like it's made of translucent plastic. I didn't know about this. As I have mentioned in other shows, that I go through this and I learn along with you. So I get the surprise just as much as you guys do if you don't already know about it. So yeah, this is new to me. It is made of translucent plastic. That one came out in 2005. Very nice, very cool looking vehicle, but it's not the original. Flipping down, the original retail price is not listed, but you know, I'm going to say this is around $6 or $7, just, you know, through my years of studying the A.G.P. Oh, I was right. I was on the wrong page. I was looking at the 2005. The 1988 was $5.99. So little validation there, Byron. Good job. So yeah, $5.99 for this. You know, $6 you get a vehicle and an action figure. The nullifier himself is an interesting action figure. If you saw him by himself, he does not look like anything that would fit with G.I. Joe. He looks like something from the robotics toy line, in my opinion. He just has that futuristic look. I will read the information on the about the file card, since I don't have it. I'll read that real quick. The only advantage of the anti-gravity pod, considering its poor energy consumption to performance ratio, is its ability to turn sharply and to stop on a dime. Acute maneuvering of this sort can be physically debilitating to anybody but a nullifier. Yeah, I'm sure that would jar your organs around pretty good. You know, you're flying at Mach 1 and all of a sudden you stop, you know, your internal organs keep on going. You know, you could get detached aorta that way. The A.G.P pilots require a 6-hour weight workout every day, requiring to maintain their massive physique, high levels of endurance. Such training is necessary in order for them to command a vehicle that can reduce a normal man into a gelatinous pulp during the course of a simple run. And here's the quote, I'm assuming is from Destro. The nullifiers are fed solely on a diet of high protein gruel that looks like gray mush and tastes like wet cardboard. Their muscles are always sore and their nerves are constantly on edge from the stress. Consequently, a nullifier usually has a temperature of a rabid pit bull and is highly likely to bite. So it seems like they're breaching their anaerobic threshold through their workouts, which means their oxygen consumption to use, their oxygen consumption to demand, I should say, is not being met, and that's what makes your muscles sore. You get these little crystals forming of lactic acid that makes you sore. So these guys are sore, grumpy individuals, and that would make them mean on the battlefield. So let's go ahead and pull up those pictures as I had promised. You know, we're 15 minutes into this already, so let's get these pictures out of the way. All right, so I pulled up a picture of the despoiler to show you that it says Battle Force 2000, and that's what Hasbro had intended it to be, was a part of Battle Force 2000, but it came out a year too late. Apparently, Battle Force or BF2K was not as popular as they had hoped, in my opinion, and they just scrapped the whole thing. So who knows why that had happened, why it was eliminated. So they were stuck with Destro and his Iron Grenadiers fighting everybody, and that's fine with me. And you could also see the card art or the box art for the A.G.P, which this is a really cool looking vehicle. So let's go ahead and take a look at it without any further ado. The 1988 A.G.P anti-gravity pod. All right, so here it is, the anti-gravity pod. Very futuristic looking vehicle. This was one of my more, built on a budget vehicles. I bought it mostly complete. I think it was missing a gun, a few of the missiles, and the tail fin right here. And that was it. And just later down the road, I bought it to complete it. I did have the gun and a spare box of parts, so it does do you good to buy a bunch of parts. Even though that might look like junk at the moment, later on you may need them. And I've helped a lot of people out with those parts, and I've completed a lot of my own vehicles with that box of parts. So let's pull the nullifier to the side here for a moment and take a look at the star of the show. Here is the A.G.P. To me, this has like the head of a locust, which is pretty cool. When you lift it up, of course, you have the command chair, and it's more at a standing position. So, you know, just slightly bend the knees of your nullifier, stick him in there, close it. My cockpit doesn't like to close tight. You know, it could just be a flaw on mine. And there you have it. You know, he's pretty much standing up inside of this vehicle. The cockpit couch is done up in red. Has a few hand controls here. Has a headrest, some padding here on the couch, but not much as far as detail goes. Flipping it around, you have 2 missiles on each side. There is no left or right. These missiles are gold. There is with the despoiler, there's one that has gold missiles and a gun turret, and the other has bronze and a gun turret. The one that's more sought after has the gold on it. But I actually have both. I bought one. I'm just missing the gun turret on my other one. I bought it just to complete it, just to have both versions. So you open it up. I forgot to point out there is one sticker on there, one decal for the control panel. Here are the engines here in the front. You have the intake and the exhaust. The exhaust, as you could see, it's pretty blasé. Has Destro's faction sticker on there, but these turn up and back. They rotate 360 degrees. That gives it its forward thrust and its vertical takeoff and landing. But if you look at it, it's blasting its own wings, so it's going to heat up this bottom foil. This is definitely aerodynamic for sure. I doubt this would actually fly. Here on the bottom, it looks more like a wing than anything. The bottom is actually pretty impressive. You have 2 more Destro stickers on the bottom. Very nice. This is pretty impressive. I like that. It looks like an airplane on the bottom. And you also have fins on either side that the missiles just fit onto with a dumbbell peg. They just slot right on there, no problem. The tail fin, or the tail rudder, you can see here, it moves from side to side. Mine has a busted clip. Right here you can see where the white is. So watch out for that. That's a part that's easily broken off. I purchased this with the busted clip, and that's probably why I got it at such a great deal. Has two forward-facing guns. These guns are done up in that gold plastic, of course. No left or right gun. And they do, or can, rotate in a 360-degree formation. Pretty cool. The vehicle is nice. But the action figure is what really shines. I call the vehicle the star of the show because it is. To me, I love the A.G.P. It's such a cool vehicle. The nullifier confuses me, but so did the Iron Grenadiers. They were supposed to fight a non-existent force, so it's okay that it's confusing. He is wearing a tan uniform that's broken up with this weird purple mauve color. He has a pistol slung on his right leg with a backward facing grip, a pad here on his other thigh. He has very interesting markings on his chest. Not sure what that's supposed to be. Are these little bullet indentations? Who knows? There's hoses here on his arms to kind of break things up to make this look like a pressure suit. His shoulders have pads on them. He has a notch up here on his shoulder like they were going to put a cape on him but decided not to. He has another hose attachment here on this shoulder. He does have a visor that lifts up into this weird looking helmet. I really don't know what to say about that. That is, it's weird. The commonly missing piece is his visor. He looks normal without the visor. You can see that the pegs on it are very small, so that's easily overlooked. And for a long time, when I would see these guys without the visor, I thought they were fine. But if you notice that when it's up, it looks more like a helmet, kind of in the same style as the Iron Grenadier helmet. Then it'll fold, drop right back down. He has pads here on his hips, more. It looks like a little patch there, and some attachments on his front with another pad there. This looks more like a pressure suit than anything. Yeah, he is a very interesting looking action figure. Just the design of him will say G.I. Joe, but looking at him, he does not look like anything from G.I. Joe. So again, it leaves me a little confused even to this day. He really does not, in my opinion, fit in with the whole palette of G.I. Joe, but it is what it is, and we have a cool action figure and a cool vehicle to go and play with and have a lot of fun with. I do remember seeing this guy in the toy stores. Going through Kmart, I should say, in the toy sections, not necessarily toy stores. It was sort of a big deal for us to get to go to an actual toy store, something like Lionel Play World or Children's Palace or Toys R Us, something like that, to an actual physical standing toy store. That was a treat in itself. But seeing this in the toy section, I remember looking at it and thinking, hey, this is pretty cool. I would really love to have one of these. And I think I did ask for one for Christmas and ended up with the despoiler. But I'm glad I did, because I got Destro, and that was the highlight for that toy. 1988 was a very good Christmas for us as far as G.I. Joe went. So let's go ahead and get into my favorite segment of Byron's Gripes. For those of you who are just joining, thank you so much for sticking through this and waiting up until this time. I really appreciate it. If you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and give me a thumbs up. That will really help this channel grow and get the word spread on YouTube that people are actually watching my channel, and that will help the numbers grow. And the bigger this channel gets, the more prizes I could start handing out. I do Byron's Gripes as a means of entertainment. It gives, I do it to let people know what to expect if you're new to collecting, what prices are out there, and what I think is a good price and what I think is a bad price. Simple as that. I use eBay just for a reference. That's it. I don't use eBay to pick on it. I absolutely not. I'm not that kind of a person. I don't pick on the sellers either. I do make fun of the prices, because some of these people think that because something says G.I. Joe on it, it is valuable. And really, just a fraction of what is in the vintage Joes from 1982 on up are actually really valuable. Okay, yeah, plain and simple. The rest of it, mass produced, beat the heck kind of stuff. And the value is in the eyes of the beholder. Of course, the troop builders will always fetch a higher price, because people are army building these things, and that just drives the price up due to scarcity. So looking at eBay here, we have right off the bat a complete A.G.P. no pilot, $39.99. Here's another one complete, $19.99, deal of the day. $39.99 is what I would call top end of normal. That is the highest price I think I would pay for this. The plastic on it, it's a softer plastic. It's not like the same plastic that the Vamp was made out of, or any of the earlier Joe vehicles were made out of. This plastic is a little bit softer. I guess is obviously less expensive to produce a plastic of this caliber. It's not cheap by any means, but it's just a softer grade of plastic. The chemical structure is different. So I wouldn't pay more than $40 for it. It's not because of the plastic, but simply because this is a pretty common vehicle to buy. The nullifier with visor, $26.99. I am going to put that with deal of the day, even though I would not pay $26 for an action figure. The visor in itself is worth that much, in my opinion. So you're buying the visor and getting the action figure for free. A missile, $1.99. Now you have the complete nullifier with file card, $33.96, deal of the day. Here is one that is complete, a complete A.G.P. Nullifier is missing his visor, but he does come with a file card, and they gave him a battlefield, a rifle from the one of the battlefield accessory packs. $76.50. Not really. I wouldn't, simply because the nullifier isn't complete. But again, this is built on a budget, so that's what I would do. So it would still exceed $39. So I'd be very hesitant. Here's one that looks like it's just parts fodder. It's missing everything except for one gun. As far as the attachments go, it has the canopy, $7, $14.90 shipping. Build on the budget, of course, for that one. Here's one that's missing all the missiles, $15. I'll put that up a deal of the day. Here's one missing the canopy, tail fins, and missiles, $10. It's marked off from 50%. Several missiles, $2 each. The front guns, $3. The bottom wing stabilizer, $5.06. The canopy, $15.99. Now here's another one that's missing everything but a gun and the tail fin, $16. Here's a complete nullifier. Oh my gosh, here we go, with a file card that somebody climbed up to the very top of Mount Everest without oxygen or any type of cold weather gear to buy this man from a Sherpa. $69.99. So I'm thinking that's the only reason why he had to charge so much, is because he had to go through all of that just to get this specific action figure. $69.99 for that. It comes with the file card, and the Sherpa, I'm sure, stuck him on the file card just because. Another incomplete A.G.P. $15.99. Here is a lot of missiles. There are 7 of them together. That's an auction. Never mind. I won't quote an auction price unless the auction has ended. Waiting for the computer to catch up here. Looks like there are 2 missiles and the jet intake, $9.99. $3 for a gun. $6.11 for the command couch, $13.56 for the canopy, tail fin, $2.99. Here's one complete with the blueprints. Oh my gosh, it's missing the missiles. Never mind, doesn't say deal of the day, but I'm going to put this a deal of the day because it does have the blueprints, and the missiles are $2 each. So you're still coming in way under your $40. Very nice. Here's one deal of the day. It's complete, $29.99, but always watch your shipping on that, because shipping could throw you over your budget, as well as taxes. If you say, I'm only going to spend $40 on this, watch your shipping and taxes, because it'll blow you'll blow the curve on it. Here's a canopy, deal of the day, $9.99. 3 missiles, $4.25. Here are 2 of the intakes, a gun, 2 missiles, $15.99. High end of normal on that one. 3 missiles, $7.79. 1 missing missiles, $24.99. Canopy, $9.99. Deal of the day. There are several pages of this, but most of it are parts. Nullifier without the visor, $19.95. I'll put that up a deal of the day, because it doesn't look bad without his visor. This just goes to show you how unrare this thing is. Oh, here's one that comes with Destro. Unrare isn't a word, I'm sorry. Used the King's English, Byron. That comes with Destro version 2, $37.50. I'd buy that just for Destro, because he sells for around that much. You know how common this vehicle is. There are several pages, several several pages. $48.99 for a complete nullifier of file card. High end of normal on that one. But there are so many other sites out there that sell vintage G.I. Joes. And we're at the end of the page. I always suggest go to a local toy store, a local vintage toy store, local comic book shop, local used bookstore, and buy these things. You could get them at a better price. You're not having to pay for shipping, for one. 2, you're helping a neighbor. 3, you're keeping your tax dollars in your state. When you pay taxes on eBay, that tax doesn't stay in the state where you're buying it from. That tax goes to the state that you're purchasing it from. So, you know, you're helping out in 3 different ways. And I love small business owners. I'm a big advocate for small business. I live in a very small town, 1,200 people. Not as small as the village that I came from in Ohio, but that was just a township. That's how small that place was. Miss it very much, but story for another day. So there's nothing but small businesses around here. Even our Ace Hardware, even though it is a big box store, it is owned by an individual. It's a franchise. So you're helping that neighbor out. And those people over at that Ace Hardware are so nice. You walk in the door, you get greeted, somebody walks with you and loads your cart for you and stuff like that. It is nice. It's a very nice small town feel that I was really looking for. So anyway, guys, help your neighbor before you turn to any other site for your purchases. Just an opinion. It's just Byron. Okay, it's up to you, but I do want to encourage you guys to do that. So let me know what you think about this review. Leave me a comment. I do answer back. I do really love hearing from you guys. Reading your comments and answering is the funnest part of my job, of this hobby, I should say. I've made a lot of friends through this channel, and I hope to make many, many more. So thank you very much to all my new subscribers throughout the world. Hello. I wish I could speak all the languages that have subscribed from the different nations, but hi. That's hi and hello are the simplest English words to understand. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you more than you understand. You have been a support for me for all these years, and I hope to see you guys around for many, many more years to come. Remember, be kind to everybody. You never know what kind of day somebody's having. Be kind to yourself. That is so important. Loving and respecting yourself brings out joy, and you could help other people that way, and it's also a lot healthier. And be kind to your animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. And don't forget to wash your hands. All right, stay clean. Washing your hands, number 1 right there. Washing your hands. That's your number 1 defense against getting sick. You guys, I want you to stay healthy and happy. So until next week, this is Joe Motion Videos 82 saying goodbye. Good luck, and may the force be with you. Hopefully Vampire will show up. Next month is October, so Friday Night Frights will be starting up. We'll do a little bumper or a little trailer for that. So I'll get you guys ready for Friday Night Frights. That's a big annual show that I hold on this channel. So very popular from what I'm starting to understand. So anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.